My 45-year-old brother lives a life of a bratty 16-year-old teenager. My brother lives at home at my mom's house in the same bedroom that he lived in high school. It looks exactly the same. The dresser still has everything on it.
I've had all this since I was in high school in my room.
He has the same photos on the wall that my mom decorated his room with when we were in high school. He's dressing the way that he did 20 years ago.
Pretty much normally what I wear.
Whatever he wears, it's just what mom has bought for him. Jeff is the epitome of a 45-year-old loser. Jeff is lazy, he's not motivated, and he's immature. Jeff takes advantage of my mom. She lets him do whatever he wants. He comes and goes. He doesn't have to do anything. She allows him to walk all over her. She lets him talk back to her. I know that she is afraid to say things to him. She's a prisoner in her own house. She still makes his meals, cooks, cleans, drives him everywhere, just like when we were kids. The jobs he's had lately have been at a gas station, working at a fast food restaurant, and now working at a pizza place. These are jobs that you would expect of a 17-year-old kid, not a 45-year-old man. When Jeff is at home, he's usually in his room watching TV, playing video games, or on his phone, or he's with his friends, like a teenager. Jeff needs to get his life together. He needs to move out of mom's house. Jeff needs a serious wake-up call.
Okay, what's going on here?
That was pretty hard to hear.
Yeah, I would think it's hard to live with. Be around, watch happen. I mean, what has your brother always been so flat, unmotivated, unable to get in gear?
Oh, yeah, pretty much. I mean, he hasn't really, it's gotten worse since he moved back in 16 years ago into my mom's house.
That's a long time for somebody to not say, hey, wait a minute, you're a grown man, you're educated,
Yeah.
you have a skill. He's an aircraft mechanic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, this guy can make serious money.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Obviously, I mean, that's a very sophisticated trade, and he's got 2 certifications in aircraft mechanics, right?
Mm-hmm.
One point, he was certainly motivated.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I never really thought about it like that. He's lazy. He doesn't want to do anything.
Well, do you know what he tells everybody? He tells everybody he moved back in to help his mother.
No. Yeah.
Well, that's
No,
what he
does not.
says.
Yeah, he did not move back in to help my mom. No. If she would be, she'd have a lot more time and be able to relax a lot more if he wasn't there.
Yeah, but he doesn't lift a finger when he's there. He doesn't clean
Very
his
little.
own room. He doesn't help around there. He has 2 children that are living there with him, right?
2 of his kids are still at home, yes.
Right, and he doesn't go to their ball games. He doesn't go to their parent-teacher conferences.
No.
He doesn't do anything.
No.
I enable my son because I do not like controversy. Jeff is definitely lazy.
I just sit in here and watch TV.
I've been the one raising my grandsons. Within the last 16 years, I have spent over $100,000 on Jeff and his kids. I believe that he's reverted back to being a high schooler. Jeff didn't have any responsibilities back then. Just take care of himself. For the most part, he was footloose and pants-free. He can go stay out all night, go wherever he wants on the weekends, because mom will take care of the kids. His top priority is hanging out with his friends instead of with his kids.
Jeff just left. Said he would be back, never said where he's going.
I am still working because I have to support Jeff and his sons. I would love to retire if I wasn't supporting them. It's unfair. I've tried to kick Jeff out of the house, but then I let him stay. I always say yes.
Well, you've been listening to everything so far, right?
Yeah.
The hell are you thinking?
Well, it wasn't so bad at the beginning. When
First 4 or 5 years?
It wasn't so bad when he was screaming at us every day and couldn't even like go a
When
whole day
you-
without yelling at y'all. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry to like be so blunt about it, but that is ridiculous.
And you say you would love to retire.
Yes.
And you know that because you've done it before. But then you came out of retirement to start working for him and his children instead of him working.
Right, yeah.
You think you're an enabler?
Oh, I know I am.
you're really functioning pretty much below your capacity, below your level, right?
I totally agree with you.
Tell me why.
Well, after my divorce, I had a real hard time dealing with it.
Well, that was 16 years ago. We
Right,
talked
right.
about it.
I went back to school, and I was about ready to graduate. I had a job interview in Seattle and another one in Galveston. And after I went and did those, came back home, my mom and Aunt Linda sat me down and said that if I do get a job out of town, they wouldn't let me take the kids with me.
That's not true. I told you you can go and get established first, get you a house, check the schools out, and then you could take the kids.
That's not what you and Aunt Linda said. You
Well,
said
even
you
if
would
that's
not.
not what if they did say what you're saying, you're the dad. She doesn't have any legal right. If you wanted to take your kids, even though it wouldn't be the best thing for me.
You know I
could take
didn't
your
have the
kids.
money to fight Mom and Aunt Linda for
You
custody.
think grandma has money to pay for lawyers to fight you over it
You're
regardless?
their dad. If you wanted to move away, you could move
I would
away
have had
with
to
them.
fight them. You know that.
Well, she would never fight you. That's the whole problem. She would never let it get to that. She would have just let it go.
Are you going to live there till you're 65? I mean, what's your plan? Seriously, do you have a plan?
I do have a plan.
When? What is it?
I was waiting on to Missouri to change their laws, and I'm going to go work with my friend at a dispensary, and I'll move out.
At a dispensary? Mm-hmm. What kind of marijuana dispensary?
Yes.
So you're going to wait for Missouri to change their laws because we know.
Well, they've already changed the law. They just have to give us the guidelines so we can open the store. We're just waiting on the guidelines. We've discussed it many, many times.
Now, Mike Baer is a very dear friend of mine, and he's a life coach and the CEO of Cast Centers.
I mean, first things first, let's kind of change our posture. Just sit up. I want to know from you, why would we take you on as a client? To help you improve your life, why would we take you on?
Because I want to change my life. I don't want to be where I'm at right now. I just don't know how to do it.
And you're willing to go to any length to do it?
Whatever I need to do.
I mean, seriously, you want out of this, right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't like this.
No, I don't like it at all.
I mean, there's no way you like this. You're not a good role model for your children. You have to feel guilty for burdening your mother the way that you are. So let's talk about inertia, because that's what we're dealing with here, right? I mean, it's just a lack of movement or activity, and it's a property of matter by which it remains at rest unless acted upon by some external force. Right. Meet external force. Okay? And so we've got to overcome this. Something's got to shake you out of this, and that's what you're intending to do, right?
Well, we would start 7 a.m., you're out of the house, 6 p.m., you're home. Mom's going to lock the door. He's not allowed home. Your video game system's getting turned in. Your TV's getting turned in. You're saying you're willing to go to any lengths, right? So sometimes we have to make a huge, drastic change in our lives.
It's all on me, I know.
Winners do things losers don't want to do. It's just that simple. Winners do things losers don't want to do. They get up in the morning, they go out and do things that losers don't want to do. Losers want to lay around in bed. Winners get up and go do something. It's time to start behaving like a winner. If you want to be a winner, behave like a winner. It's not fake it till you make it. It's behave your way to success.
My brother is not a good dad.
You want to say something? Spit it out.
My mom takes the kids to any of their activities, school, sports, Boy Scouts. Jeff and Tori's relationship is toxic. If they do talk, it's arguing and fighting. It's not a normal father-daughter relationship.
My whole life, he made me feel like I wasn't good enough for him. My dad's relationship with my younger brothers is incredibly strained. Tyler and Cody are scared of my dad. Both of them, on separate occasions, have told me that they think he hates them and that they hate him too.
You have not been showing up as a dad.
I know that.
And you're gonna start showing up as a dad. And what does that look like to you?
Just doing more things with my kids, you know, being a part of their life.
What type of dad are you looking for?
I'm looking for someone that's supportive, that actually wants to listen when I've got something going on. Somebody that cares about what I did that day, you know? Doesn't have to be something spectacular, but I'd like you to at least check in and say, hey, how was your day? How have you been doing? Without, by the end of the conversation, you asking me to come pick you up or to give you money or let you borrow my vehicle. Because I just feel like all you want to do when you interact with me is take, take, take. And instead of being genuinely interested, you just want something from me. Every single time you want something from me. It can never go from, hey, I'm so glad you had a good day, let's talk tomorrow. It's, oh, hey, that sounds cool. Well, my friend's got weed out, a couple streets over from you. You want to come pick me up and take me out there? I'll find my own ride home.
I know I'm not a good dad. And I want to be.
I want to start out with a to-do list for each of them and a not-do list for each of them. There are some behaviors that need to be eliminated, and there are some new behaviors that need to be introduced. New behaviors like getting up, getting a shower, getting dressed, getting out of the house, getting on a bus, riding down to wherever is the target for that day, looking for jobs, going to the airport, doing whatever is necessary to make sure all certifications are current, doing whatever he has to do. Those are some of the things on the to-do list. And then the activities of daily living that you were talking about, the to-do list needs to include things like cleaning up the environment, cleaning up that room, cleaning up his relationship with the children, being honest with them. If it involves getting involved with a therapist, I'll be happy to provide that. There are a lot of things on the to-do list, and then the don't-do list are just as important because you've gotten to the point that you've actually become abusive with your children. You yell at them, you've been anything but patient with your sons, correct? That anger boils out with them.
Right.
They didn't do anything to deserve that. That has to stop.
Yeah.
And then the same thing is true with you. You have to come up with a new set of rules to live by here.
Right.
And this is going to set you free.
Hopefully.
I mean, seriously, you have to decide that you're not helping him. You may think that you're doing this to help him, but you're not. Okay. You're doing this to make yourself feel better. Because at least you say, well, I don't want him on the street. I can't have my grandchildren on the street. So you're doing this to make yourself feel better. And you're doing it at the expense of him because necessity is the mother of invention, and he has no need to change because of what you're doing. Okay. Take that soft place to fall away from him, and he will do better. Give yourself a break. This stuff about he lives in your house and won't even clean up after himself, are you kidding me? Change the locks on the house.
I often find it's harder for someone like you to change than your son to change.
This is what you mean when you say best self. He's not being his best self. She's not being her best self. And that's what you're talking about. And you're going to assign a coach to her.
I am.
And a coach to him.
Both.
You're going to oversee them both. They're going to interact with each other, these two coaches.
Correct.
And we're going to behave our way to success with a plan set against a timeline. And you're going to check in and make sure what's going on here.
Oh, we're
right?
going to be all over you. Both of you.
Okay, fair enough?
Yeah.
Also, one more requirement that for us to work with you is there'll be drug testing at the house and he can't smoke marijuana. You can smoke marijuana when you leave, but not at Mom's house. You looked a little concerned.
I'm not concerned.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.